Drucci's grave is right there, and if I turn the camera, you can see all 6 Genna brothers. We flew from Las Vegas to Chicago to visit Mount Carmel Cemetery, where Al Capone is buried. And there are so many people that are also there that are involved in organized crime. And we were only able to visit a few, but each one had a really interesting story to tell. When we got back, I felt the need to watch the Untouchables. And if you haven't seen it, it's a little bit dated, but there's a really great scene where there's a gunfight on some stairs, and I would recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it. But when I was looking for the Untouchables online, I came across another film. It's a short film called The Unmentionables, and it's a Looney Tunes cartoon, and it's pretty awesome. I would definitely recommend checking that one out also. I'll show you a short clip here.
Gangs wage ruthless wars.
The entrance to the cemetery reads, "The dead shall rise again, incorruptible." It's ironic that a cemetery filled with dead mobsters has a no gun sign at the entrance. Al Capone, nicknamed Scarface, rose to power as the most notorious mob boss of Prohibition-era Chicago, running bootlegging, gambling, and vice operations through the Chicago outfit. He survived multiple assassination attempts from rival gangs during the bloody turf wars of the 1920s. In 1931, Capone was convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 11 years in federal prison, serving time in both Atlanta and Alcatraz. Released in 1939 due to poor health, he lived quietly until his death from complications of syphilis on January 25, 1947. Capone's epitaph reads, "My Jesus mercy." Frank Rio rose to become one of Al Capone's personal bodyguards, entrusted with handling both business and private affairs. Capone is even rumored to have referred to Jack, McGurn, and Rio as the Golden Boys. Rio earned a reputation as one of Capone's most loyal and dependable enforcers. During an assassination attempt by Earl Jaime Weiss, he tackled Capone to the ground, saving his life. He was also said to have uncovered a plot by Albert Anselmi, John Scalise, and Joseph Guenta to overthrow Capone and seize control of the Chicago outfit. Underworld accounts later claimed that Rio helped carry out the execution of the conspirators. Frank died of a heart attack. Frank the Enforcer Nitti was one of the most powerful mobsters in Chicago during the Prohibition era. He was Al Capone's trusted bodyguard and chief enforcer. When Capone was sent to prison for tax evasion, Nitti took control as the boss of the Chicago outfit. Facing indictment in a major fraud case, his fear of prison was heightened by his severe claustrophobia. So instead he chose to shoot himself in a Chicago rail yard. He was also rumored to be suffering from terminal cancer at the time. Nitti's epitaph reads, "There is not life except by death. There is no vision but by faith." Jack, Machine Gun McGurn's story begins like a tale of revenge, but ends in his own blood. In Chicago's Little Italy, the powerful Genna gang demanded money from residents and businesses to cover the legal costs. McGurn's stepfather, Angelo DeMori, either refused or couldn't pay. For that, he was murdered by Genna gunmen. A few years later, McGurn avenged his stepfather's murder by tracking down and killing all three men responsible over the course of just 8 days. The ruthless efficiency of his vendetta caught the eye of Al Capone, who admired McGurn's determination. Before long, McGurn had found a place with Capone's Chicago outfit. McGurn was later credited with the assassination of North Side boss Earl Hymie Weiss using his trademark Tommy gun. McGurn is believed to have played a key role in the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Police charged McGurn in the case, although he was never brought to trial due to his girlfriend who claimed they spent the whole day together. One day after the 7th anniversary of the St. Valentine's Day massacre, McGurn himself was ambushed by 3 men with pistols. They shot him dead, leaving behind a Valentine card that said, "You've lost your job, you've lost your dough, your jewels and cars and handsome houses, but things could still be worse, you know. At least you haven't lost your trousers." The Genna brothers consisted of 6 Sicilian brothers. The remaining 3 brothers, Jim, Sam, and Pete, fled to Sicily after their brothers' murders within weeks of each other. They returned to Chicago and divorced themselves from the rackets to run an olive oil importing firm. Bloody Angelo was the first to be murdered. On May 26, 1925, Bugs Moran, Vincent Drucci, and Hymie Weiss shot and wounded Genna numerous times during a high-speed car chase, causing Genna to crash his car into a lamppost. Angelo was rushed to the hospital. When police asked Genna who shot him, he merely shrugged. He died shortly afterwards. Mike the Devil was next. On June 13, 1925, Genna had a shootout with the Northsiders. After the shootout, he and 2 of his men were chased by Chicago police detectives. The 3 opened fire on the policemen, killing 2 and wounding a 3rd officer. Police shot Genna in the leg, severing an artery. Genna died in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. Tony the Gentleman was last. On July 8, 1925, Tony Genna was asked to meet by one of his friends. He agreed, not knowing that the meeting was a setup. The 2 men met in front of a grocery store, and they shook hands. Drucci and Moran stepped out from behind a wall and shot Genna in the chest and abdomen. Tony was rushed to the hospital and lived long enough to tell Sam Genna that it was Antonio Spano who lured him there. Vincent Drucci was shot and killed by Detective Dan Healy in a police squad car in Chicago. The officer claimed self-defense, stating Drucci attacked and tried to seize his firearm. Bystanders and associates gave a different account, asserting that a scuffle started after Healy punched Drucci, causing the driver to halt the car at the roadside, where Healy got out firing at Drucci, who was shot while sitting in the car, handcuffed, and his hands in his lap. The Northside Gang orchestrated the assassination of Antonio the Scourge Lombardo, a trusted advisor to Al Capone. In retaliation for Lombardo's murder, Capone ordered the infamous St. Valentine's Day massacre. I find it incredible that all of these famous mob figures are buried in the same cemetery. And even the Genna brothers, all 6 of them are interred into the same crypt. And then just right around the corner from them is Drucci, who murdered 2, if not 3 of them. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.